Welcome to another video, the same every time. GCSE Math, GCSE Maths, looking at the kind of questions that apart from the numbers are the same every time. You can learn how to do them. Then when you see them on your exam, you will know exactly what to do. You'll get the answer right, you'll get yourself into the marks, you'll get yourself into the grades. So we're looking at similar shapes, and we've got a couple of exam questions here to think about. Right, what have we got here then? The diagram shows two mathematically similar plant pots. I'll just point out the words here. In the other questions that we saw, they just said the word similar, didn't they? But occasionally you will see that they write mathematically similar. I suppose the reason for that is because in real life, the word similar just means one thing is a little bit like something else. But in maths, when we say similar, we mean one shape is an enlargement of the other, and all of the lengths have been multiplied by the same number, which we call the scale factor. So by saying mathematically similar, what they are doing is signaling to us that one shape is an enlargement of the other. We've multiplied each side by the scale factor. Don't be put off by the fact that we seem to have three-dimensional shapes here, because they are still asking us about the height of the larger plant pot, and they tell us the diameter. So we're still dealing with distances here. We're not working with volumes or surface areas, so don't be put off by the fact that they are 3D shapes. We're still working with just distances and lengths. Right, so everything's here, I think, in the diagram. You don't really need to read the rest of the words, but the smaller pot has height 21.6 centimeters, diameter 27 centimeters. The larger pot has diameter 33. Find the height h of the larger pot. So we're just finding h, basically. And the method is, well, not surprisingly, the same every time. So we need to look for the scale factor. So what am I multiplying by to go from the smaller shape to the bigger shape? I take two measurements or two sides with measurements that are the same side or the same measurement. It's the diameter in this case. And the larger divided by the smaller will give me the scale factor. So 33 divided by 27. Right. Now, if you were watching the last video, I was talking about how if we get a fraction but it turns into a nice decimal, then maybe more people are happier to work with a decimal if it's a nice 0.5 or a 0.25 or something like that. I think a lot of people prefer decimals, don't they? But if it makes a fraction that does not make a nice decimal, like this one, 11 over 9, if you convert that to a decimal, it's not a nice one. It doesn't stop. We are not going to use a rounded decimal for our calculations here. We must stick with the exact value of the scale factor, which is 11 over 9. I would also recommend leaving that as an improper fraction. I wouldn't write it as a mixed number. That's just going to start confusing us, isn't it? So the scale factor we have to leave as a fraction, so multiplying by 11 over 9 to go from the smaller shape to the bigger shape, multiply by 11 over 9. So find the height of the larger pot, right? It's hopefully familiar stuff now. So there's h, and the same side in the smaller shape is there, 21.6. To go from the smaller shape to the bigger shape, I'm just multiplying by 11 over 9. So 21.6 times by 11 over 9. All right, calculator job for this one. So 21.6 multiplied by fraction button, 11 over 9. And we get, well, it does turn out to be a nice number in the end, which I'm going to write as a decimal this time, not as a fraction. So 26.4 centimeters. There we are. It's the same every time. Work out the scale factor by doing the 33 divided by the 27, and then just multiply by the scale factor. Notice, as I've said in the previous videos, I'm showing all my working out here, my calculation for the scale factor. I've even written that on the diagram, and my calculation for the final answer. Also, because it helps me, I draw my arrow to show me which direction I'm going from the smaller to the bigger when I multiply. One more question. We're back with more familiar territory here, triangles. The triangle ABC, that's the first one, the smaller one, is similar to triangle PQR. And when you see the word similar, of course, it means that it is an enlargement, and we're multiplying each side, all the sides, by the same number, which we call the scale factor. So our first move is to find the scale factor. How do we do that? Find two sides that are the same side in the same place. It's these two sides here, isn't it? And the scale factor, we take the length of the bigger side, so 21.7, divide by the length of the smaller side, 12.4, and that will give us the scale factor. I'm going to reach for my calculator on this one, 21.7 divide by 12.4. Right, that gives me the fraction 7/4. And since this one does make a nice decimal, I'm going to stick with the decimal version for this one, 1.75. Of course, you don't have to. You could use a fraction if you're a person who prefers fractions. So going from the smaller shape to the bigger shape, we are multiplying by 1.75. There's my scale factor. They want the side P to Q, so they want this side here. And all we have to do is find the equivalent side in the smaller shape. Well, it's that one. So we're just going from the smaller shape to the bigger shape, which is multiply by the scale factor, multiply by 1.75. 5.2 times by 1.75, and that will give us our final answer. So calculator job, there we are. It's 9.1, so 9.1 centimeters is our final answer. Give yourself the 2 marks for that one. It's the same every time. When you see this question or a question like this on your actual exam, you'll know what to do because you've watched all the videos. They're the same every time. You recognize, you're just going to go through the exact same method every time. Get yourself to the answer, get yourself into the marks, and you'll get yourself into the grades. All of the marks add up, don't they? So the more questions that you can learn how to do, the more questions that are the same every time that you can recognize, the more marks you're going to get. So hopefully that was useful to you. If it was, then please press the like button. Also, please subscribe because that's useful to us. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will return on the next one.